top 10 reasons to eat meat.
Alright, so number 10, lions eat other animals. Lions also shove their head into hippopotamuses' assholes. So, I don't know, should we go and start shoving our head into hippopotamuses' assholes? Maybe?
Mommy!
Look, when you see it in movies, it's fucking hilarious, but in real life, if I was to shove my head inside a hippopotamus's asshole, people would probably look at me weird. So when you try and use that excuse that lions eat other animals, I mean, we have humans that kill other humans, so should we do that because humans kill humans? Or number 9, I need protein. Plants have protein. If you don't believe me, have a look at this vegan. Or have a look at this vegan. There are so many other vegans out there that are powerlifters, that are bodybuilders. And look, I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first went vegan, I was worried about getting enough protein in my diet because it had been pushed so much that you needed animals for protein, and that's the only way that you could get protein. But then after doing research, it was so clear that there is so much protein in plant foods, whether it's tofu, whether it's beans, lentils, you name it. Just go and Google it, vegan protein sources, and I'm sure that you'll find some foods that you'll like. Number 8, our ancestors used to eat meat. Our ancestors also used to club women over the head and rape them in caves. You know, we should probably start doing that again because our ancestors used to do that. Another thing, our ancestors only used to live to about 20 something. So if you want to copy what they ate, you're probably going to die early. My religion says that it's okay to eat meat, so I'm going to keep eating meat because my parents told me about this book when I was younger, and then they told me that I shouldn't have any questions about it and I should just believe everything that's happening in it. Even when it talks about pedophilia and owning slaves, I should believe everything that it says in that book, and I shouldn't do my own research into, you know, what I should eat anymore because these books told me that I can eat animals. So yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna eat meat because I read in this book. Does that not sound crazy to you? Just go on Google and type in vegan recipes and learn new vegan recipes, and stop using the Bible or the Quran or any other religious text to justify causing unnecessary harm on animals. It just does not make sense. Number 6, being vegan is unhealthy. There are so many unhealthy people that are meat eaters, but no one kind of points that out. In Australia alone, it's over 60% of the population are overweight or obese. How many vegans are overweight or obese? Very minimal. A lot of people like to think that, you know, you're going to be low in iron, you're going to be low in B12 and all of these different minerals. Vegans are the only group of people that on average are healthy. They have a healthy BMI. Every other group, whether it's vegetarians, whether it's omnivores, they all have a BMI that's overweight. Number 5, but I have canine teeth. Look at my big canine teeth. I have to eat meat because my canine teeth. First off, you don't chew into animals just with your teeth. You don't rip them apart. You don't eat their blood and their guts, all their intestines, all their different organs. First, you need to cook the meat because if you eat it raw, you're probably going to get sick and die. So you've got to cook it first. Secondly, you use a knife and a fork. You're not using your teeth to rip straight into the animal, even when you do cook it. You're always cutting it up into pieces, making it all nice and proper for you on your plate. Also, can we talk about hippos? Hippos are herbivores. Look at their fucking teeth. They're massive teeth. Should we tell them to start eating animals as well? What about the gorilla? We should probably tell the gorilla to start eating meat as well, you know, because he's looking pretty weak at the moment. As you can see, he's very weak. Number 4. Animals are going to overpopulate the world if we don't eat them. Now, I don't know if people actually believe this one, but if you do, listen up. You got a simple supply and demand graph. When less people start demanding animal products, less slaughterhouses will be killing animals. It's that simple. A key example of this is the dairy industry in Australia. They're losing millions and millions of dollars of profits. And although people are getting sad and they're getting angry over it, we've got to protect the dairy farmers and we've got to be there for them because they've been third generation dairy farmers and now, people aren't buying their products anymore. I don't feel sorry for them. They steal babies away from their mothers. If the baby is a male, it gets sent to slaughter for the veal industry after only weeks. If it's a female, it'll have the same fate as its mother. So every year it's going to be forcibly impregnated by the farmer putting a fist into their asshole and a rod into their vagina to make them pregnant. And that's going to happen every single year for about 4 years. I don't feel sorry for the dairy industry. Their products are causing cancer. They're so unhealthy. And the main point is that they're not made for humans. It's breast milk for a cow. If you saw me drinking breast milk from a random woman, you would think that I was fucking weird, and that's the same species as me. But if I was to drink, say, cat milk or dog milk, people would still think that I was weird. What's the difference? I think the only reason that we get cow's milk is because cows produce a lot of milk, one, and two, they're not going to try and scratch the fuck out of you if you try and take their milk, which would happen if you were trying to take the milk from, say, a cat or a lion or a hyena. Hyena milk is higher in protein than cow's milk, but we don't take their milk because they will scratch the shit out of us. They'll bite us. Cows are so peaceful and we pick on them because we're just fucking assholes. Okay, so it's natural. I guess if you want to say that humans are omnivores and look at other omnivores, they eat flesh from animals raw. They bite into the animal, they kill the animal with their teeth, and they rip the flesh apart with their teeth raw. So if you kind of want to call eating meat natural, that doesn't make sense because we cook the meat first, we flavor it with vegan herbs and sauces, and then we eat it with a knife and fork. Now that doesn't seem very natural to me. It's also natural to find fecal matter inside meat. It's also natural to find pus and blood in dairy milk. Because when you're milking cows, 3 times a day with painful machines, you tend to get infections on the teats. So, yeah, you're drinking natural pus and blood every time that you're having dairy milk. So cheeses, yogurts, all that kind of stuff. It's also natural for cows to live to the age of 20 to 25 years old. But in the cattle industry, they get killed after about 12 to 18 months. Dairy cows, same thing. They usually live to about 20 to 25 years old, but in the dairy industry, they're killed after about 3 to 5 years. Bobby calves or baby veal, they are usually killed after about 1 to 2 weeks old. Lamb, they usually live to about 15 years old, but in the lamb industry, they live to about 3 to 10 months old. Chickens usually live to the age of about 8 to 12 years old. That's their natural life. In the chicken industry, they'll live for about 40 days or so. Pigs will usually live to about 10 to 12 years old. In the pork industry, they'll probably live to about 4 to 6 months. Number 2, bacon though. So before your bacon was chopped up into nice little slices for you or little pieces, chances are they had their tails cut off, they had their balls ripped off, they lived a life of complete misery, even though they have the intelligence of a 3-year-old child, smarter than your dog that you probably love. And number 1, plants suffered too. I would rather shit in my own mouth than answer this question, but here we go. You and I both know that this is absolute horse shit. But let's just say for an unrealistic hypothetical situation that plants feel the exact same pain as animals do, you would still need to go vegan. It takes so many plants to feed an animal so that you can eat the animal. If you care about plants so much and you just want to minimize all the suffering of these poor plants that get their throats slit, the United States of America kills so many innocent plants. I mean, you could feed 10 billion humans with all of the plants that they feed animals. So if you really care about plants, you should probably become a vegan.
Go vegan or go fuck yourself.